And we're live. It's LCJ Live. What's up, everybody? It's Sunday, November 30th, 2025, the final day of November of 2025. Can you believe it? The final month is almost here. Welcome to LCJ Live. Thanks for being here. And good to see these guys. Wayne and Lanny, Prep and Landing, 1, 2, 3 in a row. Tonight, ABC, 8, 8:30, and 9. The new special Snowball Protocol is at 9. It is terrific. I talked with the makers of it a few weeks ago. Go to animationscoop.com and lcj.podbean.com for that conversation. It's a big day for Disney. Not only is the new Prep and Landing on ABC tonight, but congratulations to Disney on what is a phenomenal, spectacular, tremendous, pick an adjective, opening weekend for Zootopia 2. $550 million worldwide. One of the biggest global opening weekends of all time for any movie. Stellar numbers in China. Strong numbers here in the United States of America, North America. Wow, $156 million for the 5-day for Zootopia 2. One of the biggest Thanksgiving 5 days ever. It is not the $225 million of Moana 2 last year, but I think there was more anticipation overall from families and younger kids than even those going to Zootopia 2 to see Moana 2. So that's why it's a little less than that. You know, there is a difference between 225 and 156, but still 156, 96.8 million of that from Friday through Sunday. Fanimator 101, Zootopia 2, an amazing sequel. Hope it won't take 9 more years to do a third one, which it probably won't. You know, I saw Zootopia 2 on Tuesday. I was one of only about 6 people in the theater, maybe one of the quietest showings it had anywhere in the country all weekend. And I do think the first one is better. It is. And I don't know if the rewatchability of Zootopia 2 will be there. You know, there might be kids who are scared by a lot of what happens. There's a lot of peril. There's a lot of action. There's violence. There's drama in this second Zootopia movie. Yes, there's a lot of comedy. But I'm not sure if younger kids are going to want to watch, especially the second half of Zootopia 2 ever again. So, yeah, it's fine. You know, it's a fine animated film. There have been better animated films this year. But Zootopia 2 was one of the biggest openings ever, so we're probably going to get a Zootopia 3. What does boffo mean, says Sam B. Russell? Sometimes Deadline uses that word regarding the box office. I think it's just a synonym for that or a shortening of that. I don't really love that term. End credit scene could be another one, yes. Zootopia probably going to win. Well, I think K-pop Demon Hunters is your winner for animated feature. I said it months ago, and I'm going to keep saying it until it ends up happening on March 15 or whenever the Oscars is. K-pop Demon Hunters is probably going to win the Academy Award. Zootopia 2 will probably get nominated. And I was even thinking the other day, because of the box office success of this and the streaming successes of K-pop Demon Hunters, do any of them have a shot at Best Picture nominations? And I remember 2 years ago, Spider-Verse, Boy and the Heron. A lot of people wanted to see either or both get nominated for Best Picture, and I think the votes split. Ultimately, the Oscar went to Boy and the Heron for animated feature, but in terms of Best Picture nominations, I think the votes split in terms of animation impact. Maybe we'll see that as well. With this, we'll have to see. Moana 2 was one of the worst movies ever, says Pete Crooks. I actually like Moana 2 more than the first Moana. I think the first Moana was very basic and just checked every typical box of a Disney animated movie. It went to the standards. And I like the music of Moana 2 more than the first Moana even. And the emotional impact, I think, was stronger, especially in the first third to half of Moana 2 than what happened in Moana. So I actually prefer Moana 2 to Moana. Yeah, and then let's see, we got some comments about all that. So yeah, Zootopia 2, 156. Now, listen to these interesting facts about the first Zootopia. Number one, the first one opened to $70 million and totaled 341. Now, you would think, oh, 341 million, that's huge. It was probably the biggest animated movie of 2016, right? No. As a matter of fact, it was number 3 for the year, behind Finding Dory and The Secret Life of Pets. The Secret Life of Pets made 368 million back in 2016, yet the sequel, just 3 years later, only did 159. But here comes the sequel 9 years later of Zootopia 2, and we're probably going to pass that. Also interesting fact about Zootopia, it was the 5th biggest Disney movie of 2016, behind Finding Dory, well, let's see if I can remember all these, Rogue One, Captain America, Civil War, and The Jungle Book. And Zootopia was 5th for the year. did make $1 billion worldwide, did win that animated feature Oscar, but Disney waited a long time for this sequel. It kind of reminds me of Frozen 2. I didn't love Frozen 2, and now we're apparently getting 3 and 4. But in terms of emotional impact and what the story is, the story not as strong for Frozen 2 as Frozen, Zootopia 2 as Zootopia. But the music in Frozen 2, those two big showcase songs that Elsa has, were very strong. Let's see, another fact about Zootopia. This Zootopia 2 is already the biggest animated film of the year in terms of North America. It has passed Demon Slayer to become the biggest fully animated film of the year. We're not talking Lilo and Stitch. We're not talking How to Train Your Dragon. We're not talking Minecraft movie. We're not talking Jurassic. All of them have visual effects animation in them. But in terms of fully animated features, Zootopia 2 already number 1. SpongeBob is on the way. David is on the way. Neither of them are going to make the money that Zootopia 2 is making. So Zootopia 2 will be the biggest animated film, fully animated film of 2025 in North America. The first Zootopia, as I mentioned, did 341. We're at 156, so we're almost halfway to the total of the first Zootopia. What will be very interesting is, again, repeat viewing, how much is there? And with David and SpongeBob both coming out December 19, what impact is that going to have on families going to Zootopia 2 over the next few weeks? Let's see. Avatar was determined, the first one, and then this second one, and then the third one not to be up for animated feature. Why did it take so long for Zootopia 2? I think Disney had other priorities. Moana 2, they shifted that as a priority. And some of their other animated films, obviously Frozen 2 was a priority, though that had been in the works for a while. But they wanted movies like Encanto out there and Wish out there. And I think maybe they came around to, you know what, this made $1 billion, let's get some more money. Some of these other movies have not been making money. Let's make some money. I mean, that was the Moana 2 shift as well. That was going to be a TV show, remember? And that got shifted to a theatrical movie. It's all about let's make some money. And right now we're already at 556, 400 internationally, on its way to at least $1 billion. Let's see. Zootopia 3, I would guess it would take 4 to 5 years. If they want to get it going now, 4 to 5 years. But look at Inside Out 2 from Pixar. That came out almost a year and a half ago now. And it made $1.7 billion, something like that. And we have not gotten official word from Pixar yet on an Inside Out 3. There have been rumblings, rumors. They want to do Incredibles 3. They're doing Toy Story 5, obviously, a few others. But we haven't even heard yet about Inside Out 3. And that made $1.7 billion. So sometimes, and the first Inside Out to the second one was 9 years. So we'll see. Maybe they're waiting for the next generation again, or older kids, younger kids, siblings, the timing of it all. We'll see. We'll see what Disney decides to do. All right. Number 2 is Wicked for Good, which added $62.8 million in the 3-day. It is up to $270.4 million. And comparing it to the first Wicked from last year, we are $7 million ahead at the same point. Wicked went on to make $473 million. We're at $270. Can this second Wicked movie, which is darker, more intense, more dramatic, not as good. I finally saw Wicked the other day, the new one, Wicked for Good. Not as good as the first one. I just kind of sat there most of the time going, okay, things are happening. It's too long. It's too drawn out. I'm not loving what's happening. Give me something. And it finally gives you something in the final half hour. But my goodness, does it take a while to get there. It's not. And listen, I don't even mind movies that take a more dramatic tone in the second installment than the first installment. That is very typical of a lot of Broadway shows. A lot of Broadway shows. You look at Groundhog Day, the musical, which I saw years ago. I think that was the last time I saw a Broadway show. Like 8 years ago. That show takes a much more dramatic, emotional turn in the second act compared to goofy, silly Act 1. So if you're expecting light and fun again, you're not going to get that. And I don't mind the shift, but the material's got to be compelling, and it's just not compelling. So are we going to get another $200 million out of Wicked for Good? Maybe. Maybe not. I thought this could do more. we're even with the last one. Before I saw it, and now that I've seen it, I go, I don't know. Another 200 million? We will see. Still, it's one of the biggest Universal movies ever. One of the biggest non-Fast and Furious, non-Illumination, non-Jurassic movies Universal has ever released. And so they're thrilled, but I don't know if we're going to get to that 473 or higher of the first one. Lots of comments coming in. Toy Story 5, hope it has a great premise. We'll see. It's about the iPad. Are kids playing with the iPads more now instead of toys? That's the real premise of Toy Story 5. And Train Dreams was good. Joel Edgerton is very good in that. That is on Netflix now. Number 3 for this weekend. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. 7 million. It's at 49.7. This is what I said last week here on LCJ Live. I said that Now You See Me 3 was going to need a big Thanksgiving weekend in order to be considered a success enough for Lionsgate. We're still 3 million off of the last one at the same point. So even though it made 7 million in the 3-day, over 10 million in the 5-day, we're still 3 million behind the last one. So Lionsgate's got to be going, oh geez, was it all worth it? Now overseas it's doing very well. In terms of North America, the last one did 65. We're at 50 almost. I don't know if we're going to get to 65. The next couple weeks are very interesting. You have Five Nights at Freddy's 2 next weekend, along with a ton of other smaller films, which I'll mention in a minute. Following weekend, you have Ella McKay, which I watched last night. I don't think I can say anything. The embargo may have lifted. I'm trying to get that confirmed, but I'll have thoughts before it opens December 12th. But that's really the only major, I know there's a couple other things, but huge wide release for December 12th. Everybody waited till the 19th and Christmas Day for movies. So it's going to be very interesting how some of these films, like Now You See Me, like Predator Badlands, which did well, 4.8 million this weekend. It's up to 85 million. These small holds maybe for some of these other films over the next few weeks because there's not as much until we get to the 19th and the 25th. Number 5 is The Running Man, added 3.7. It's at 34.3. Number 6 is Eternity. Had a $3.2 million 3-day debut, $5.2 million 5-day debut. A24 movie. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed things. It's Elizabeth Olsen, Callum Turner, Miles Teller, and the great Davine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers, which I consider one of the, if not the best, Oscar-winning performance of the last 20 years. I remember watching The Holdovers, which was my number 1 movie of 2023, and Paul Giamatti was amazing, and Dominic Sessa, and every moment that Davine is on screen, that is just a perfect performance. Just stellar. Because there's a lot that her character goes through, and she is just phenomenal in that. Watched her on Graham Norton last night, along with Ben Stiller and Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. I have seen Song Sung Blue. I watched it the other night. Outstanding film. Love this movie. Hugh Jackman is fantastic in it. Right there with the best work of his career with Les Mis and Bad Education. Right there. Frankly, he should be nominated for Best Actor this year. And I think there's a chance he could be nominated for the Best Actor Oscar this year, especially if people also vote for Kate Hudson, who is very good. If they vote for her for Best Actress, I could see a lot of people, especially older Oscar voters, say, I'm going to nominate Hugh as well. So I could see both of them nominated. This is the movie. This is the kind of older moviegoer, positive, upbeat, sort of, though there is drama to it, movie that could be the darling of the holidays and the one that sort of a complete unknown was that last year, the one that sort of sneaks in at the end and goes, we're going to shake up everything. This could be Song Sung Blue because the music scenes are phenomenal. The performances are excellent. Ella Anderson, who plays one of the daughters, is really good in it. And there is a lot of meat to this movie in terms of story. It is an emotional journey. It is all about life, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the pain, the joy, everything. It gives you everything. It's going to be in my top 5 for the year. It has to be. It is really strong. So I could absolutely see this. And let me make a prediction now. If Hugh and or Kate get nominated and or the movie for Best Picture at the Oscars, they and Neil Diamond will perform Sweet Caroline to open the Academy Awards. Take the advice of the movie, which is Open with Sweet Caroline. That's a running kind of joke through the whole movie. Open with Sweet Caroline. Cue Kate Hudson, Neil Diamond at the Oscars. That's how you open the show in March. One of them's got to get nominated at least, as well as maybe the movie for picture. Do it. That's a brilliant way to open the show. You had the Wicked open last year. Don't do that again this year. Open with Sweet Caroline. That's how you start the Academy Awards. Number 7 this weekend. Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery. Looks like $3 million for the 3-day, $4 million for the 5-day. It's not playing in most of the major chains, but $4 million. Not the impact of what Glass Onion was 3 years ago, but it's in over 600 theaters. Number 8 is Rental Family, added 2.1 million. It's 7.4. Number 9 is Hamnet, which opened in about 120-ish theaters. Did 80 for the 3-day and 1.4 million for the 5-day. It goes nationwide this coming Friday, December 5th. And rounding out your top 10 is Sisu Road to Revenge, which added 810,000. It's at 4.1 million. I like the film. I wish it made more than this. All right. Let's go to this weekend's movies. As I mentioned, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is going to challenge Zootopia 2 and Wicked for Good. You know, Zootopia could drop. A lot of people like to shop this coming weekend. It could drop down to 50 million next weekend. I could see that happening. Wicked could go down to 30. And Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which, had 80 million open last time? This could be number 1. It could be 2 or 3. It's going to be a good battle for those 3 films. I don't think Wicked wins, but it'll either be Zootopia or Freddy's. And we'll see which one comes out on top next weekend. You also have a ton of films in limited release and or smaller releases. Some going nationwide, getting a little attention, like, I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Fackham Hall. That is a new comedy. Also, Merrily We Roll Along, Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. They put the 2 Kill Bills together. You have 100 Nights of Hero, Rosemead in limited release, Dust Bunny in limited release, A Private Life with Jodie Foster. It's a terrible movie. It has its awards qualifying run. Endless Cookie, which is terrific, an animated documentary I saw way at the beginning of the year. Love this film. It's in select theaters Friday. Also, La Grazia, which is Paolo Sorrentino's new movie, is having a limited release. This is my least favorite of Paolo Sorrentino's films. It just does not have the impact and the intelligence of many of his other films, including Parthenope from earlier this year, which is a film I love. This, I saw it in October, disappointed with La Grazia. And then on Netflix is Jay Kelly, which is such a mess. It is unbelievable how messy Jay Kelly is. Just consistently fumbles over and over again. Really, really bad. A lot of it's just really weak. I'm shocked at how weak Jay Kelly is. So that's on Netflix. So I think those are all the movies. A lot of movies. Some, like Five Nights at Freddy's, will make money. The others will make a little bit of money and fill up the rest of the top 10, and some go to streaming. And like I said, not a lot for the 12th, and then you got the 19th and Christmas Day with big movies. For the end of the year, Wicked for Good might not be nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. If Song Sung Blue and Marty Supreme and some of these other movies really start building buzz, and Marty Supreme already is. That's one of the few I have not yet seen is Marty Supreme, but I've seen most everything else in terms of the awards voting. There's a couple other movies I got to catch up on, but in terms of most of the big stuff and the ones that have yet to come out, big movies, yet to see Marty Supreme, Avatar, SpongeBob, No Other Choice, Secret Agent. I've heard very good things about both of those last 2, so I got to see those at some point. But I've seen most of the other big awards movies for the end of the year. Song Sung Blue, A Testament of Ann Lee, I don't love, but Song Sung Blue is outstanding. And some of the other big holiday releases, I'm forgetting something, but yeah, there's still a few I got to see, but I've seen a lot of them, and some of them are really good and some of them are not. And as is the case pretty much every year. But we'll see if Wicked for Good gets nominated. I don't know. I think it depends. If people want to give some love to other movies this time instead of Wicked last time, it won 2 Oscars last time, it'll be interesting. Some of the awards voting is happening for groups and things this week. Next week, Critics' Choice stuff will be out. Golden Globe stuff will be out. SAG Actors Awards, the new name. The Actor Awards will be early January. Spirit Awards, Annie Awards on the way. The Oscar shortlist, the BAFTA nominations, and then the Oscar nominations are Jan 22, I believe. So we still got a ways to go, but we'll see how some of these movies do over the holidays and the impact they will have on the awards season. I have not yet seen Begonia. I may catch up on that at some point. It depends on, because I'm in SAG, so if there's a couple that I missed that end up as SAG nominees, I may catch up on the Rose Byrne movie too. I've heard she's good. The movie maybe has problems. If there's a couple that I don't get to and then they're nominated for SAG, I'll watch them before I vote for SAG awards. But I've not yet seen Begonia. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it could be a fun award season in terms of surprises. Like I said last time, if it's Ariana versus Glenn Close versus Sigourney Weaver, that's a good battle for supporting actress. We'll see what happens. Some interviews are on the way for this week. Can I talk about a couple of them? Yes and no. You'll see them. They're at animationscoop.com, lcj.podbean.com. This week and next week, some fun stuff on the way. Go to X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson, YouTube.com/LightsCameraJackson. Subscribe to the channel, lights-camera-jackson.com. And, as always, as I'm doing, if you need a holiday gift for your family, available on Amazon, My Very Rocky Christmas. Had a great holiday event yesterday, and enjoyed that very much. Love going to Christmas tree farms and supporting the holidays with this great, inspired by a true story, family holiday book with wonderful illustrations. And if you got young kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, they can draw their own tree and their own rock in the back of the book, learn all about Christmas trees and the impact. My Very Rocky Christmas, available on Amazon for the holiday season. We will see you next Sunday for LCJ Live. First show of December, final few shows of the year. A lot to talk about with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which I don't know if I'm going to see. I didn't really care for the last one. I don't know if I'm going to see this. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to share more on Ella McKay by then, and we'll talk about some of the other big movies for the holiday season. All right. Thanks for being here for LCJ Live. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. We'll see you in December. Bye-bye.